So it's Ed Lawson here from Intent Group. Welcome along. I'm here this morning with Tauqeer Iqbal, who's the CTO of Trusted Data Technologies. How do you sum up the sort of potential for businesses to use AI, machine learning in their supply chain operations?
We are still in the learning process, yeah. So I think machine learning it's a vast domain. It's a big area. And if you look at the past, it's been overshadowed by software companies with kind of pre-engineered solutions. Yeah, so you feed something in, you get something out, and then you use that to make your business decisions. And I think most of the companies now they are realizing that we need to take a fundamental shift from these kind of in-out solutions and try to apply machine learning to specific business problems. But when you look at unique businesses, every business is different. The context is different. Data is different. Their objectives are different. So most companies that we are aware of, they are either deploying data scientists within their own teams, within their own supply chain functions and stuff. Or they are working with credible companies who can come in and deliver to their objectives.
And do they come to you with specific questions, or for you is it partly about defining the right questions to be asking?
Sure. I think mostly we get asked what we call generic things. So generic things in a way. How can we improve? Improve have no definition. How can we get it more accurate? Accuracy has no real definition in the business context. Yeah. So okay. So I think a part of learning starts when you engage with clients and try to understand what exactly is it that they want. So trying to pin down the right questions or the right sort of end goals. Because at the end of the day, you're modeling for your end goal is not by anything else. So be it revenue increase, be it lowering wastage, be it getting market share, maybe uplift in your sales volume.
Mm. Do you? We're talking a lot about data, and you mentioned every company is different, and that makes a lot of sense. And we hear that a lot from when we're talking to members, Intent Group members. What about accuracy? I know that's I guess people come to you and they say we want to improve our accuracy. How do you approach that?
You could be making a mistake if you say we're only interested in accuracy. Why? Because you are making a big assumption here that everything that you've done for the past 5, 10, 15 years of your history that basically built that data up and all your processes, they are absolutely fine. There is no change in them. You don't want to change anything. And you just want to carry on that past legacy into your future legacy, and you just want to fit something that basically gives you the least errors, and you keep doing that things. Reality is very different. I think business objectives these days are all about how can we drive more revenue, how can we be more profitable, how can we be, how can we deliver, same or generate same revenue with least cost and stuff. So these economic kind of objectives becomes the driving principles of a model. I think it's not about accuracy here.
You mentioned that sort of maximizing is a meaningless term almost. Optimize is kind of a meaningless term as well. So how do people create that business case to even get you in the first place, or talk to somebody like yourselves in the first place to sort of justify it and say we think there's something that we can achieve here?
If you talk to every head of supply chain, he has very clear business goals for we need to minimize our costs, for example. We want to make sure that we're delivering or we're improving our SLA, or we are achieving more revenue comparatively to past, or blah blah blah. So everybody has these objectives, and I think often we get involved with clients right in the beginning in terms of defining I would say model selection criteria even, because at the end of the day, these should be, as I mentioned earlier, it should be your business goals. It should be nothing else. So that's the goal I want. Can you uplift my revenue, for example? Now, even in that uplift, there's a lot of preliminary work that goes on in order to understand how much potential there exists, within your client base, or or at the rate of your new customer coming in, how much potential there is, for an uplift. And then you start basically go ahead and start modeling from it. So a lot of our work goes in spending initial kind of time into looking at data sets, exploring data sets, taking insights against the business goals, and then going back to the client and saying, look, we think that you could minimize waste by a certain percentage. In monetary value, it will add this much to the business. We think that there is a revenue potential. Why? We also give you that story. We build from your data. I'll give you a quick example.
Yeah.
We had a very complex case, last year, where a client wanted us to identify sales opportunities, missed sales opportunities. And one of the ways we looked at data is how their retail customers, they move their products, whether they move slowly, whether they move fast. So can you imagine if you are manufacturer of 200 plus SKUs? So not every retailer is moving them in a similar fashion, because every retailer is different. The sort of population, the location parameters, number of things determine how these retailers they move these SKUs. So it's all about going and exploring the rate of movements of different SKUs at different retailers, looking at how often this retailer basically stocks and doesn't order that SKU, but he orders that other SKU every day. The other SKU goes every week. So you look at these ordering frequencies, you kind of drive a number of variables from this. We call it maybe consumption rates at the SKU level, in line with when they were first replenished and stuff. So all this kind of very granular work then basically gets aggregated, and we say, we think that you could improve your sales by this margin.
Okay.
And it will take time for companies to even learn this domain. It's not that simple.
Okay. and for that reason, we'll be having many more discussions with Intent Group, and we look forward to involving you in some of those as well, to help explain it and talk through some of the outcomes that people can achieve as well. Tauqeer, thank you ever so much. I really appreciate that, and we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Ed.